Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Ivy English. I'm Karen.
And I'm Wesley.
Today is February 10th, and we're on page 32 in your magazines. And today we're going to learn about a very special sheep.
今天我们要读一只很特别的羊的故事。
Our title is The Life of Dolly the Sheep.
中文标题是桃莉那隻複製羊。
And when you hear the title, you probably remember this in the news from some time back, if you're not too young.
好，那如果你不是非常非常年轻的话，你听到这个桃莉听到複製羊，大概就知道我们要谈什么东西了。
Okay, and here it is. Here's our article for today. The Life of Dolly the Sheep. Few animals are known around the world on a first-name basis, but one sheep had that honor. Dolly looked like any other Finn Dorset sheep when she was born. However, her birth marked a scientific milestone. Dolly was the first mammal cloned from an adult cell, proving that specialized cells could be used in creating an exact duplicate of that animal. Dolly was the result of work done at the Roslin Institute in Edinburgh, Scotland. At the facility, developmental biologist Ian Wilmot headed the research team that figured out how to take a cell's nucleus with a full set of DNA from an adult animal and transplant it into an enucleated egg cell. This egg cell then began dividing and became an embryo which was implanted into a surrogate mother. Several months later, Dolly was born on July 5th, 1996. For more than 6 months, no one outside the Roslin Institute knew of Dolly's existence or significance. That all changed on February 22nd, 1997. On that day, Dolly was introduced to the world, and a scientific paper detailing the experiments surrounding her birth was published. A media frenzy followed, and soon Dolly's name was known worldwide. People were fascinated by the scientific breakthrough that seemed straight out of a science fiction novel. At the same time, the disclosure of Dolly and the experiments also prompted debate over the ethics of cloning. For her part, Dolly lived a fairly normal life. She gave birth to 6 lambs between 1998 and 2000. She was diagnosed with and treated for arthritis in 2001 and remained healthy until 2003. In February of that year, tumors were found in Dolly's chest, and she was put down at the age of 6. Kind of a sad ending, but a very interesting story. Let's go back to the title. The title is very straightforward, The Life of Dolly the Sheep.
就是桃莉那隻複製羊
的生平
yeah, the life of, yeah.
Okay. First sentence, few animals are known around the world on a first-name basis, but one sheep had that honor. This sentence is kind of cute because normally we only use this expression with humans. Oh, we're on a first-name basis. So instead of saying Professor She, I say Wesley. We're on a first-name basis.
On a first name basis 就是熟到可以直呼对方的名字所以 in other words you have a very friendly and informal relationship 就已经很熟了。好，那所以看到我们这个句子通常这有刚刚 Karen 老师讲这个蛮有趣的，通常我们是人才会是 on the first name basis， 但在这里我们谈的是一只羊，表示那只羊非常有名到我们大家讲它的名字我们就知道是哪一只了。
But this is very different from the case with humans. So with Wesley, if I don't know him that well and I want to show respect, maybe I'm a student, I say Xi 老师 or Professor Xi. However, here, it's a sheep, and normally we don't call sheep Professor Jones or Mr. Jones. We usually just know sheep as a generic animal. So, this sheep and that sheep, we usually don't have names for them. But in this case, she has a name, and everybody knew this name.
那在这里呢，这羊通常是没有名字当然主人可能给它私下取名字但是那个羊大概这个别的人大概不知道那个名字，可是呢这只羊它有名字，而且大家都知道所以他一开始讲是说这个很少有动物呢 few animals 就是几乎没有，就很少 few 就是几乎没有，少到几乎没有 are known around the world 就是广为世人所知就全世界的人都知道这个动物，而且是不但知道它，而且是 on the first name basis， 就是熟到可以直呼其名。好，不过呢，有一只羊，很少有动物有这样的 honor， 但是有一只羊呢 had that honor， 它有那样的一个荣耀，因为这是种荣耀嘛，就是有名到大家都知道你，这也是种 honor， 而且它不是因为做坏事到大家都知道你，那就不是 honor， 但这个是它是大家都听到你说我知道，那这种 honor。I
think that if you give sheep names, and you raise sheep and you're going to sell them for meat, it's going to be hard if they have names.
Yeah, 这是 one practical reason.
To not name them.
Yeah, to not name them. 所以你如果给你养的羊取名字的话，你要把那羊卖掉的时候，你大概会很难过因为你这个今天我又把某某某卖掉，我又把某某卖掉，你心情会大概有名字，心情就会很难过了。
And that's happened in many cases, like the story of a Taiwanese man who was selling his hogs.Oh,
yeah.
And then one hog just looked at him. It was like the hog knew exactly what was coming, and he looked like he felt betrayed and hurt. I've been your friend all this time, and now you're sending me off to be killed.
Yeah.
So on that day, the farmer, he took back the hog, and he said, I'm not going to kill another hog.
所以这真的这饲养者跟他说，这个 hog 就是猪啦。
In this case, 不是饲养。Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.所以它是猪，所以不都一样这个猪羊这种都是属于这个家畜类嘛所以你如果给他们取名字，有时候会再建立感情的。所以另外一点，我想刚刚 Ken 老师讲的故事很重要一个 lesson， 就是我们不要觉得动物什么都不知道，其实很多动物它都知道。
They knew exactly what was happening.
Yeah, 他们都知道要发生什么事情了，他们要被卖掉，要被屠宰，他们都知道的。
Yeah.So, anyway, let's move on to the next sentence before we get too emotional. Dolly looked like any other Finn Dorset sheep when she was born. Now, if you are reading this for a test, you don't have to pay much attention to Finn Dorset. If you're reading it on your own out of interest, you may want to look it up.
好，所以如果是阅读测验的话，你就不用管那个什么 Finn Dorset sheep 是什么东西但是呢，如果你是想要阅读增长知识的话，你就可以去查一查。那这事实上是一种这个羊的品种叫这个Finn 就是芬兰嘛那 Dorset sheep 就是一种这个白面羊
对，好像是个地名
它好像是个地名所以它看起来呢Dolly 看起来就跟任何 any other 任何一只这种品种的羊看起来都完全一样。When she was born， 她出生的时候看起来跟别的同种的羊完全是一样的。
And the fact that she looked exactly like all other sheep is remarkable when you know what they say in the next few sentences.
Yeah, 那这个看起来完全一样，其实是一个很重要的对比。你看到后面句子就知道说看起来一样，为什么很重要
Right. However, her birth marked a scientific milestone.
虽然看起来一样，但是呢，她的出生 marked 就是标示标示了一个 scientific milestone， 就是科学界的里程碑milestone 注意那个重音在前面不要念 milestone 听起来很奇怪
Yes. Okay, milestone. So 名词加名词被修饰的名词没有重音 And in addition, it's written together as one word, so you know right away. The stress will normally be on the first syllable or the first word. Milestone. Dolly was the first mammal cloned from an adult cell, proving that specialized cells could be used in creating an exact duplicate of that animal.
好，那它的为什么是科学界的里程碑呢？因为 Dolly 是第一只 mammal， 就是哺乳动物cloned 就是被复制，它是被复制的，这个地方是被动那其实就 that was cloned 的意思。那从哪里被复制呢？从一个这个 adult 就是成熟的成人的，那在这里我们翻的成体这个成为身体就成体的一个，不是成为这个成体长大的一个细胞，成体细胞里面所以它是从一个成体细胞里面被复制出来的。然后呢，后面有一个分词构句告诉你说 proving that， 那这件事情它之所以可以被复制出来，证明了 specialized cells 就是为了 specialized 就是为了特定的目的来制作或设计的专门的这样的一个 cells could be used 可以被用在哪方面呢？ could be used in doing something， 这是英文常见的一个结构。所以当你读到 could be used in， 你后面你看到 could be used， 你心里大概就知道后面有一个 in doing something。好，所以 could be used in， 它被用在哪方面呢？ creating 创造什么呢？ creating an exact duplicate就是一个完全一样的复制品duplicate 就是一个复制品。那这个字根DUPL 来 duplicate 就是 two 的意思。那像这个字它的字根跟 double 是一模一样的所以 double duplicate 你一起背好，然后呢，所以你可以复制出来 of that animal， 你可以复制那一个动物，就是把从成体细胞可以复制那一个动物。
And note that the verb is pronounced duplicate. Could you duplicate your success elsewhere? But the noun is duplicate. This is an exact duplicate of this.
好，那注意动词呢是 duplicate 啊，那名词的话呢，那个是 duplicate 啊，那个不要把那个 a 的声音念出来哈。所以这个很多事都是这样，动词的时候你会把 a 声音念出来，名词或形容词的时候可能就是变成 it 的声音了。
Next paragraph. Dolly was the result of work done at the Roslin Institute in Edinburgh, Scotland. Now, Edinburgh is the way they say it in Scotland and in the UK in general. In America, most people would probably say Edinburgh, but because I know too many people who have lived there, I've changed to Edinburgh.
好，对，注意这个发音，英式发音或者这个苏格兰的发音哈，是像 Karen 老师念的那个样子啊。那这个我们看到这句，他说 Dolly 是 the result of 是什么的结果呢？是一个 work， 在这里指的是研究或者是这个实验工作啊，在哪里做的研究或实验工作呢 ？Done at 在这个地方啊，叫罗斯林研究所，它是在苏格兰的爱丁堡。
At the facility, developmental biologist Ian Wilmot headed the research team that figured out how to take a cell's nucleus with a full set of DNA from an adult animal and transplant it into an enucleated egg cell. Well, that is quite a long phrase.
Yeah, 好，这个句子也蛮长的哈。那不过没关系，它
The phrase in the middle, a cell's nucleus with a full set of DNA from an adult animal. You better take a kind of deep breath before you start that one.
Yeah, 好，那所以我们没关系，一样要一个字一个字解决哈，一个片语一个片语解决。他说 at the facility 就指在这个机构 ，facility 就是这个机构。那 developmental biologist 就是发育生物学家哈，它跟发育跟发展有关的 developmental 的这个 biologist 生物学家啊，叫 Ian Wilmot。他怎么样 headed 就是主持哈 ，to be in charge of 或者 lead， 他主持了 the research team 这个研究团队 that 这个研究团队做了什么事呢？这个研究团队 figured out 就是 discover 或者 solve， 他们解决了想出来了破解了 how to 如何可以 take 拿什么呢？拿受词是 a cell's nucleus。就是细胞核啊 ，nucleus 就是细胞核，所以他们想到一个办法，可以拿细胞核。这细胞核有什么特色呢 ？With a full set of DNA 啊，它有一组完整的 DNA， 所以他们可以拿具有一组完整 DNA 的细胞核。好，从哪里拿呢 ？Take this 啊 ，take this 这个nucleus from 从哪里拿到呢？从一个 an adult animal 就是动物的成体拿到。And 拿到之后干嘛呢 ？Transplant 就是第二个动词，拿了 take 之后呢，把它 transplant， 把这个 把这个细胞核移植到哪里去呢 ？Transplant 就是移植啊，那移植 into 把它种到一个 enucleated， 就是 out， 所以 nucleate 就是刚刚那个 nucleus 的动词，所以就是 out， 也就是本来有核把它去掉，叫做去核的，所以把这个DNA 带有 DNA 的这个细胞核，把它种到一个去核的啊，原来已经细胞核拿掉的一个 egg cell 卵细胞里面。
Right, and that E is a short form of X, which means outside and take out. And the reason the X is gone is because after the E comes a consonant. 后面是子音的话，那个 X 常常不见了。That was the rule in Latin.
哦，所以本来这个 E 就是 EX， 但是后面如果接子音的话，那个 X 就会拿掉。
常常会。This egg cell then began dividing and became an embryo, which was implanted into a surrogate mother.
好，那这一个卵细胞呢，接着就会 began 开始 dividing 分裂，然后呢 become 形成 became 形成一个 embryo 就是这个胚胎。那这个胚胎怎么样 ？Which was 这个胚胎就被 implanted into 被植入这个 implant in 也是一个动词的一个字首，就是进入的意思，就是 in 了那所以 implant 就 to plant in 也就是 to set in firmly 他把这个胚胎种到一个怎么样 surrogate mother 就是代理孕母这个 surrogate 就是代理的那个意思。
There's a word related to embryo which is worth knowing, and that is fetus, F-E-T-U-S. F-E-T-U-S also looks like it's from Latin because it is. When the embryo has grown bigger, then we call it a fetus.
所以 fetus 也是胚胎的意思，不过就是它比 embryo 还要大embryo 长大之后就会变成 fetus。
Several months later, Dolly was born on July 5th, 1996.
好，然后呢，接下来几个月之后呢，就是显然就是她怀孕的时间，几个月之后呢 Dolly 就出生了，在1996年的7月5日出生了。
Next paragraph.For more than 6 months, no one outside the Roslin Institute knew of Dolly's existence or significance. So I think they were worried about public disagreement with what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
So first they wanted to see if it would succeed. If it didn't succeed, they didn't have to say anything.
Yeah.
But if it really did succeed, wait until they were really sure of the success and then they could publicize it.
Yeah, 他们显然也是担心如果提早曝光的话，可能会有人反对，甚至于可能会有人强迫他们终止这个计划。
Right.
所以他们就想一想，还是我们先试试看，如果成功的话再说。好，所以他说大概 for more than 6 months， 在6个多月的时间里面 ，no one 没有人在 outside 在这个罗林斯研究所之外 ，no one 没有人 knew of。这个 Dolly 它的存在knew of 就是这个 to be aware of 的意思，就是 to know that something exists 这个而且也知道这是什么东西，这个 know of 这个 know 不太一样所以没有人知道 Dolly 的存在，还有它的 significance 它的 importance 它的重要性。
Does this make you wonder about all the stuff going on now that we don't know about?
Yeah, 这会让我们想到说，哇，那不知道还有多少事情现在正在进行当中，我们完全不知道 that we do not know of.
I can promise you there's a lot.
Yeah, 一定有很多的 Yeah.
Like with AI and so forth.
Yeah.
That all changed on February 22nd, 1997.
That 就指前面讲的这些东西，没有人知道它的存在这件事情呢 all changed 都改变了，一切都改变了，在1997年的2月22日这一天。
On that day, Dolly was introduced to the world and a scientific paper detailing the experiments surrounding her birth was published. Now you can say both detailing and detailing. Detailing sounds more emphatic and we usually use it for the noun, the detail. There's lots of details. I detailed the plan to my friend. So normally when it's a verb we say detailing, but we often say detailing as well. It sounds more emphatic to me.
所以在那一天呢，在1997年2月22号那一天呢 Dolly was introduced to the world， 她被介绍给这个世界认识，也就是她公开亮相然后呢，一个 scientific paper， 一个科学论文detailing 就是详细的说明或者记载，这个分词详细说明记载 the experiments 这些实验，什么实验呢？ the experiments surrounding her birth，就围绕着他出生的这些实验，换句话说他们在他出生在成长过程中做了很多的实验，那这个 paper 有详细的说明跟记载，那这样的一个 paper was published 被出版了。
A media frenzy followed, and soon Dolly's name was known worldwide.
好，那 frenzy 就是一个狂热wild excitement 或者是 craze C-R-A-Z-E。那 media frenzy 是常见的一个 collocation， 就是媒体的狂热，就是媒体都开始狂热去追这件事情
And humans love to do that.
那这是人性的所以一个媒体的狂热呢 followed 随之而来，那很快的 Dolly 她的名字呢 was known worldwide， 全世界都知道了。
People were fascinated by the scientific breakthrough that seemed straight out of a science fiction novel.
好，人们 were fascinated by so if you're fascinated by something, you find it very interesting and attractive. 好，所以大家都觉得哇，这事情太有趣了。好，然后呢，这个被什么东西觉得什么东西很有趣呢？ They were fascinated by the scientific breakthrough， 就是科学上的突破。Breakthrough 就是一个科学上的突破。同样的，这个是很多人会念 breakthrough 这个一样名词 breakthrough。
那个是一个片语动词。Can you break through that wall?
break through 就变成一个片语动词了，但在这里突破这个名词是 breakthrough， 所以大家都觉得这样的科学的突破，大家觉得非常精彩。那而且这个科学突破 that seemed 看起来是 straight out of 这个很有趣的一片，就是当你讲这个某个事情 straight out of 后面大概就是 novel 或者movie 之类的所以就是直接从那个小说里面拿出来的，直接从那个 movie 里面拿出来的，
没有修饰，
没有修饰的，没有经过这个整理等等的straight out of， 所以这感觉
或者求证
也没有求证，什么都没有，就直接拿出来了哈。所以换句话说，这明明就是这个 science fiction 科幻小说里面的情节嘛，直接拿出来了。好，所以 straight out of 可以学起来。straight out of 另外一个很常见的用法就是 straight out of college， 就大学毕业哈，刚刚毕业也是 straight， 就是他还没有去做过其他事情，他刚刚毕业。好，所以你可以说哇 ，she landed a good job straight out of college。哦，这很有运气很好，刚刚大学毕业就 landed 就得到了一个好的工作。好 ，LAND。
我想歪了。Oh, he got the job straight out of the mental hospital.
这个 Karen 想到他从精神病院刚出来，立刻就得到了一个工作啊。Yeah.
At the same time, the disclosure of Dolly and the experiments also prompted debate over the ethics of cloning, and that's still going on.
Yeah, 那各位记得这个collocation 这个 chunk 好 prompt debate over something 就是促使了关于什么东西的一些这个辩论哈 prompt debate over 就在什么议题上面。好，那 prompt 就是促成啊，就 spur 哈 spur 或者是 incite 啊 incite 啊，或者是 give rise to 或者是 inspire 哈，这个字可以顺便学起来。
But incite is quite negative.
啊 incite incite 这个比较负面一点哈。
For example, it incited riots.
哦，所以这个引起的这个暴动哈，所以这个比较 negative 一点哈。好，那所以呢这个地方讲这个同时呢 the disclosure 这样的一个公开 disclosure 就是 revealing 或者是 uncovering， 你公开了这个 Dolly 还有他的这些实验，这项一个 disclosure 也促使了一些辩论什么东西呢？辩论的议题是 the ethics of cloning， 就是生物复制的道德上的问题，因为这究竟有没有道德问题？我们是不是在 play God？Yeah,
right. Last paragraph. For her part, Dolly lived a fairly normal life.
好 for her part 就她本身而言哈，她不管外面世界的纷扰，她自己本身而言呢，她 lived a fairly normal life. Fairly 就 rather 哈 moderately， 她的一生呢还是蛮正常的。
And that's probably meant to quiet the critics because they'll say we did not abuse this animal.
Yeah, 所以这可能是要让这个批评者哈，这个让他们不要批评太多，因为他说我们并没有虐待这个动物啊，我们并没有拿它来做好多实验啊，他过的一生还是很平淡的。
And she didn't suffer because she was a clone, is what they're saying.
Yeah, 这句话其实就告诉你说，他并没有因为他是个复制羊而受苦啊，任何的苦都没有，他就是 normal life.
She gave birth to 6 lambs between 1998 and 2000.
所以他有生育能力哦啊，所以
Yeah, that surprised me too.
Yeah, gave birth to 就他生了6只小羊啊，这个 lamb 就是还没有断奶的小羊啊，所以在1998年到2000年之间生了6只小羊。
She was diagnosed with and treated for arthritis in 2001 and remained healthy until 2003.
啊，她被诊断出来 she was diagnosed with 啊，而且被 treated for 啊，所以这两个片语大家记得 diagnosed。To be diagnosed with， 然后呢 to be treated for 啊，他被诊断出而且被治疗啊，有关节炎，这是2001年。然后呢 remained healthy， 那从那个之后呢，他就一直维持健康 until 一直到2003年。
In February of that year, tumors were found in Dolly's chest and she was put down at the age of 6.
好，在那一年的2月啊 tumors 就是肿瘤啊，那它可能是恶性的，可能是良性的，但这个地方显然是恶性的啦哈。Were found 被发现啊，在这个 Dolly 的 chest， 她胸腔里面有肿瘤。然后呢 she was put down， 这个 put down 啊，就是这个这里把它翻成安乐死啊，其实 to put an animal down 就是 to put an animal to death 啊
，or to sleep。
to sleep 也有可能 ，yeah， 好，那这个地方 put down 呢，这个翻成安乐死，但是有些情况之下。这个你说动物被 put down， 你可以把它翻成被扑杀。
That's yeah, but I think 被安乐死 is really what they mean. To put an animal to sleep is a 委婉语. It's a euphemism. So, like we'll tell a child that, and they won't know that actually means that we killed the dog or whatever it is.
所以 to put an animal to sleep 不是说让它睡觉，其实也是让它安乐死的意思。好，所以呢，他在 at the age of 6， 在6岁的时候呢，他被安乐死啊，因为他长了 tumor。So
this leaves us with a lot of questions. Did she get those tumors because of something related to the cloning? The article does not tell us.
所以我们不知道说她是不是因为她是复制羊，所以得到这个 tumor， 我们并不知道。那文章也没有讲。
And also, what is the normal lifespan of an ordinary sheep? It also doesn't tell. But in any case, I found this a really interesting article. Although I had read quite a bit about Dolly before, I learned something and enjoyed it. Hope you did too.